Hey, what's up everybody? Gabe here. This is the absolute first ride out of the dealership parking lot on the KTM 390 Adventure R. My new bike. I've never ridden it before. I bought it in the winter in February. And here we go. We're trying it out. It's really wet and pretty gross outside. But this is the day I could bring it home, so we're gonna give it a try. Visor down most of the way. Good enough. All right. Okay, here we go. First gear. So, it'll take me a second to get some impressions. Okay, and we're off. Oh, wow. Pretty good so far. Definitely likes to rev, so that's fine. Now I'm in street mode. How do I get to off-road mode? Ride mode. No. Off-road. Yeah, off-road. Damn. Okay, no time to play with buttons right now. Hold on. We'll do this at a light. Now I was gonna ride straight home, but there's no chance in hell that I'm gonna ride straight home because it's way too nice out. Wow, okay, this mirror is really loose. That's a problem. That's not good. It's like just wobbling all over the place. They didn't tighten the mirror or something's wrong with it. I don't have any real tools on me, so that'll be exciting. I'm gonna have to deal with that. The other mirror is fine, so I got one working mirror, just unfortunately it's the wrong one, but I'll just have to like hold it when I want to check what's going on behind me. That's really terrible. Okay. What else? Well, the feeling is pretty good. Here, let's close the visor up. I hope it won't fog too much, but yeah, this is a new motovlogging setup. I've never done it like this before, so I don't know how good or bad it's going to be. It's the first test, and it's also the first ride on this bike. It just worked out. Today is the first day where it is street legal to ride a motorcycle in Quebec, because today is the first day that you do not require winter tires on your vehicle. As you can probably tell by the snow piles around here, winter is still happening. It's not over yet, that's for damn sure. So, you know, that's a reality, is it is still in fact winter in a lot of ways. Okay, well let's see, how hard is it to find neutral on this thing? Oh, not that bad. Okay, now, any chance of this like tightening down or something? No, I'm gonna have to fix this in the garage. That's super annoying. Oh, it kind of leads me to wonder what else didn't they tighten, but hopefully that's not a big problem. So, well, let's see. Can we get to off-road mode now? Everybody says off-road mode is the way to go with this bike. So, ride mode, off-road, select. Oh, my helmet's fogging. I'm going to have to open it. I'm going to apologize for the sound here, but okay, we can make it right on red here. Now, off-road ABS is off, maybe we want ABS for today. ABS mode, okay, yeah, I want it on. There we go, road. What I really want is the throttle control to be off-road, so that I'm used to it. I like the screen, it's really good, there's a lot of info. Okay, so we're gonna go with this. Oh, this is like a lot of weird info, but okay. It's cute, I guess. I don't mind it. I don't know if I need the gear position indicator to take up a third of the screen. Like I can, that's fine, but it's all right. Oh, some water. It's windy and shitty today. It's raining, like I said. So this is like my first ride on this bike. And I want to give some impressions, but of course I'm distracted by life. And it's also my first ride since last October, because we had a very early onset winter and snow came in, I think November 3rd, and that was the end of that. I have not ridden anything since last October. So, yeah, you know, it's been a minute since I've ridden a bike. Feels good to be out riding again. I thought it would be cold, but actually I'm really not. I'm wearing my full, you know, MSR adventure gear here with the warmth flare underneath it, and it's still warm. Oh, we're gonna go straight. I'm not gonna turn left here. We're gonna take our time and have fun. I'm wearing my full ADV boots too, which I normally wouldn't wear for riding around in the city. They're kind of bulky and I hate walking in them. But again, for weather, I didn't know what to expect on the weather, if I'm going to get soaked or not. So I thought, hey, those are the safest choice for sure. So I'm definitely getting my new bike dirty in this like wet rain. It's not raining anymore, but it was raining a lot before, and everything's melting aggressively, and everybody's kicking up a lot of salty, sleety crap. But let's talk about the bike. Sorry, that's why you're here. You don't care about the road. So far so good, except for this mirror incident, which I don't think is KTM's fault. I think somebody needs to tighten the bolts. I will do that when I get back home. The other mirror is fine, so I'm just using that mirror for now. It's okay. The throttle response feels pretty good. I like it. I do like the off-road throttle response. It feels better. I can't even see the revs because I didn't figure out how to set the screen. If I get at another red light, maybe I'll do that. But yeah, it feels pretty good. You know, off the drop, the power feels a lot stronger than the Rally, like immediately. Obviously, it's not like the KTM, 790 was, which really was a powerful machine with its like 95 something horsepower like that. This bike might weigh 100, almost 100 pounds less, 80 pounds less, something like that. But it certainly doesn't, it makes half the horsepower too. However, that's a lot more than the Rally was making, So you definitely notice right away compared to the Rally that there's a lot more oomph to be had here. Okay, here we go. I closed my bag, so I don't think I'm driving around with a wide open backpack. I can feel what's in there. Ooh, get to fucking second already. Ooh, that was not great. I struggled to get to second there. I don't know if that's my boots and my clunky foot or what, but it did not want to go into second right then. I didn't like that. I did have problems on my 790 with some stuff like that sometimes, but I'm going to have to pay attention now. Okay, let's go second. That time was okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was kind of weird. Third is fine. Okay. Maybe it's a technique problem. Oh, big pothole. Yeah, that was a big one. But I coasted right into like a moron because I want to go straight here. And I don't want to be forced to turn. Yeah, I'm going to fit. It's fine. Okay, rush hour is starting. So, well, now that I've figured out how the screen sets up properly, so I'm in the off-road with the ABS on, and it was pretty easy to navigate. I mean, these 4 buttons make it pretty straightforward. I guess this passing light switch. Comfort-wise, it's good. It's a little tall, but it's very narrow, so it's not, like, terrible. It doesn't feel especially different to my Rally. If it's heavier, you can't tell from here. It is heavier for sure. It's significantly heavier than the Rally. I think it's like 50 pounds more, 40 pounds more, something like that. It's at least 40 pounds more. This one is stock with no crash bars, no big skid plate, nothing like that. And my Rally has all that crap on, so I guess the weight difference is closer. Maybe it's more like a 25, 30 pound weight difference. But as it stands like this, it feels pretty good. Weight-wise when you're standing and when you're riding at a low speed in a parking lot or whatever. It's going to second just fine now. Sorry, I'm still distracted by that. That was weird. They didn't put a ton of gas in the tank, but it's estimating the range is 150 kilometers, and I think this bike's supposed to go to 350 on a tank, so that means they've given me less than half a tank. In today's economy, I can't say I'm totally stunned by that move. Full tank of gas would have changed the price of the bike for sure. No, not that bad, but it's definitely, probably pretty rare to actually get a full tank gas. Boy, that left mirror would have been nice for that part. Anyway, it's fine. So, yeah, people are like, oh, it feels terrible at 4,000 RPM or whatever. It's okay. At 4, it's not bad, I would say. Here, I'm cruising at 4. It's fine. Obviously, we're not going very fast, but it has roll on at this power. It's not awful. I thought it would be sputtering and stuff at 3K. It's not that bad. Now, I'm pretty sure that I have the ECU updated. Literally just came out of a dealer. This is a leftover 2025 model, but they haven't got the 2026s in yet, at least at my dealer here. So they had some leftover 2025s that they probably got like late in the season. And I bought this back in February because I got a really good deal on it. and I'm holding the mirror like a jackass. It's kind of funny, but anyway, I got a really good deal. It was like 1,400 Canadian off from MSRP because it was like a 20 leftover 2025, but I had to buy it in February, which means dealing with all the trade-in and all this stuff had to be done kind of like right away. It was a big hassle. I had to bring in my trade-in on a trailer, which was a pain. But yeah, I'm assuming I have all the updates. I have the ECU update, I have the clutch spring update, all that stuff. I'm not going to be taking it off road today, so I don't know, like if you start getting rough with it, what it's like. But at least here, I mean, even down low at 3,000, it feels fine. The way people were describing this, I was getting a little worried, like it would have like so low torque, but honestly, it still has more than the Rally. Even at low RPM, it still pulls harder than the Rally does, and it spins up very quickly, which is what I expected from my last go on an engine like this, on the Vitkillen 401 that I rode a few years back. The engine spins up really fast, so you get into the power pretty quickly, and the mid-range is not bad. I'm sure it makes more at 9K. It's in the break-in. I'm probably not supposed to over-rev it right now. It is tempting to give it the old Italian break-in there, but maybe I won't do that. You know, right away. I am I'm a bit concerned about the dealer service. So the thing is, I don't normally get bikes dealer serviced. I usually do it myself. But KTM is offering a 4-year warranty instead of the normal 1 year for if you bring it for the dealer for services on time, right? Now, obviously, this is a ploy to get people to go to the dealer. But I mean, 4-year warranty is a good deal on a bike that is kind of famous to have problems the way this one does. So it is tempting, but on the other hand, what I'm going to spend on dealer services is kind of obnoxious. So maybe I'm going to bring it for the first service and then do the others on my own. I don't know, I haven't really figured that out yet. So I'm speeding a little here for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, this RPM range feels pretty good, 5-6K. Another thing, people were very concerned with vibration. Maybe at higher RPM it gets worse. I haven't gone on the freeway. I don't know if I'm good at going the freeway today because it's not really on my way home or anything, but I mean, it feels pretty good at this speed. Much stronger than my Rally does. It feels great for this kind of riding. What I'm doing right now feels very good. Of course, the Rally doesn't feel terrible for this kind of riding either, if we're being honest. It's slower than this, but it's not like it doesn't work for this kind of calm city suburban riding, right? So yeah, I like the clutch. It's a little light, but not as light as the Rally, so it's a bit better. The Rally's clutch is almost too light. It's fine on the street, but when you're off road, you're like, boy, I wish I had a little more feel on that. This is a little better than that. I can feel there's a little more feel to it. I'm wearing new gloves too, so that might influence what I'm thinking, but yeah, so far I do like that. Yeah, I like the engine feel. People complaining. Now I guess maybe more, I came from sport bikes. I've had a lot of sport bikes. I don't mind a sporty engine. I thought the 790 had a nice sporty engine. It did have a lot of down low grunt, but it was just a bigger, more powerful engine altogether, so of course it did. But this feels fine. It doesn't feel super dirt bikey. You know, if you compare it to like the CRF 450, it's similar power, a little less displacement, and it revs probably a little more free revving. It revs up more quickly. It maybe makes a little less total horsepower, but it's close. And it has 10,000 kilometer service intervals instead of 1,000, so you know, there's that. But it definitely feels less like tractory. It feels more free spinning and all that. So yeah, I really like the ergonomics. The riding position is just right. I'm about 5'8" with a 30-inch inseam. I've mentioned that before, but again, my knees are not bent uncomfortably. Like, this is a good riding position. The seat is okay. I can't say anything either way about it right now. It feels fine. Let's see. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, see, 4,000 down to 4K. It's still good. It still feels fine. No problems. And you just kind of slowly go back up to catch up with traffic. This guy's going to turn, so we're going to... Yeah, no, I mean, it feels very good in this like city conditions. And, you know, it pulls hard here up to 7K. There we go. Very nice. It feels good. I mean, I don't know what I expected. I guess I expected the bike to be the way people described it, being completely gutless down low and everything. Maybe they're coming off bigger bikes, bigger dual sports, with gruntier engines. You know, I'm sure if you get off a KLR and you get on this, even though the power numbers are the same, the engine characteristic is completely different. There's no question about that. This will not ride like a KLR or a DR650, those big thumpers, right? Even if horsepower-wise, it's pretty similar. But I knew that, and I guess I'd already, like I said, I've already ridden that Vitpillen 401, and I liked the engine on that bike a lot when I rode it. I was really, really impressed with the engine on that. So when they finally released this bike, and then KTM's future was assured, because originally, when I first got interested in this bike, KTM's future was anything but assured. Oh, I can turn red on red here. So I didn't want to get it right away. But then when the announcement made that Bajaj, the people who make this thing, are now the owners of KTM, well, that was a pretty easy decision to make, that it was okay to buy this for me, at least my point of view. Others might disagree there, that's fine. But for me, I was cool. It was a question of when no one owned it, what was going to happen. But now that, you know, it's got a future. So I've been interested in this model since they announced it, because I rode that previous version. And basically, it fixes the worst thing about the Vitpillen, which is the awful riding position, with this nice, very comfortable one. And it gives you this engine, which I really like, which is more than enough for street riding for me, generally. I mean, yeah, if it made another 40 horsepower, I wouldn't say no, obviously. But, you know, again, prioritizing the low weight and the approachability of the bike, I think, is more important than the outright power once it has enough. And I think it has enough. Now, the day that I ride it off-road, I might change my mind about those engine characteristics, but I don't know. It's butter smooth. Let's try a clutchless shift. There, clutchless shift with, I don't have the quick shifter installed. So unless it has the famous KTM demo mode, but I don't think so. Only one way to find out is to try to rough out a downshift without the clutch. Oh god, like an ugly one, and see if it works. I don't want to find out right now. Maybe I'll be brave and I'll try it later. Yeah, I didn't buy the quick shifter. They didn't even ask me, now that I think about it. I don't know that I would. So the thing is, people really like the quick shifter. I had it on my 790 and I was unimpressed. I like the rally mode. I thought that was good, but it came with the quick shifter when I paid for that upgrade for the rally package. And I never thought the quick shifter was any good. The quick shifter was kind of crap unless you were very high RPM on upshifts. It was pretty elegant on downshifts, on the other hand. But on upshifts, I thought it was a little sloppy. Oh, open again. It's too hot or too foggy. So yeah, I really liked the quick shifter for slamming downshifts, but I thought it was very clunky for ups, so I didn't use it that much. I ended up just using the clutch anyway at the end of the day. So because of that, it didn't really occur to me to buy the quick shifter for this bike, especially because, like, it's not like you're getting it as part of like rally mode like with the 790. This bike basically has all the MTC and all the, as many of the settings as you can change are already changeable from the factory, which I like. I don't like the software upgrade stuff there. I'd rather they just included everything or didn't. I know a lot of other companies do, so KTM's just trying to milk a little bit of extra here. Let's turn in here and turn around. Okay. So here we go. That parking lot's pretty full, so we'll go a little further. Yeah. So for me, the quick shifter was like a question of, is that really something I want to get? And I think the answer was kind of not really. Neutral again. Oh, this time it went up to second. Not really was the answer, you know? At the time, I got it because I'd never tried one before, but my experience with it was kind of whatever. And yeah, that was like 7 years ago now. And okay, it's probably better than it used to be, but shifting with the clutch is fine, unless it, you know, refuses to go to second like it did that one time. But again, I wonder if that was like a boot-related failure or not. This is a school, so we won't park in front of the school. That's a little weird. No, this isn't the school. This is a old people thing. Soins longue durée is long-term care. Okay, I can park here. before the no parking sign is fine. So let's get off and walk around a little. Neutral. Quite a lot of authority on the kickstand, I don't mind that. Okay, visor open. This busted mirror, man, this sucks. Can I access anything under here? Is there a nut or something? There is. Can I just screw it back in? Wait, this way. Oh, you hear the, I see. So now it's like, but the problem is I need to loosen the bottom one. Okay. Well, so let's look around. Now it's muddy and gross. It looks like I've been riding dirt, but I have not. It's just dirty because I'm riding it around on the street on a dirty day. But here we go. This is the, wow, you can see that oil sloshing around in there. That's, I've never seen that before on the sight glass. That's interesting. What else? What else can we see on here? The passenger peg stayed up. That's good. A lot of people say when they put the kickstand down, the passenger peg would pop up. Okay, my plate's still on there. I'm just looking if there's like anything obviously wrong with the bike, you know. Oh, this one did come down. Look at that. Okay, I'm gonna either zip tie that up or even consider taking it off completely. That's fine. Everything looks good. I'm gonna try the flasher out. It's supposed to be on, but it's not doing anything. That's not a great sign. Is this one? So maybe the flashers don't work. That's not ideal. Or maybe I just can't see it at a bizarre angle. No, it should be lighting up and it's not. That's very unusual. I have heard there are people complained about the flashers, but still, is there a hazard light on this thing? Yes. And again, I don't see anything. So my flashers don't work, which isn't super, so we're gonna have to deal with that. Okay, well, I guess this is the walk around. I'm gonna slowly head back before it becomes too much rush hour and this video gets too long. But yeah, so far so good. Seat-wise, good. Comfort-wise, excellent. Motor-wise, way, way better than I expected, honestly. Really, the only thing I would say is now I don't like what's going on with the flasher. The offset shock is weird. I know that people talk about it. I don't hate it, and I like that you can access the preload right here. The oil sloshing around kind of freaks me out. The piping load doesn't really bother me, though. I like it'll make the luggage easier to mount. What else? Suspension so far feels very good. I did hit some potholes. Tires feel okay even on this crap. So yeah, I think that's it. My first impressions are so far so good. Shitty zip-tied plate and flashers that don't work. That's weird. I'm gonna have to deal with that. I don't love that, but anyway, apart from that, and very, very loud radiator fan when it kicks off there. But apart from that, everything's pretty good. Brakes feel okay. Everything feels pretty okay. Yeah, I like the bike. So on that note, I think I'll leave you here. I'm going to put my recording equipment away and ride a little more. So thanks very much for watching, and peace. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the garage. It's been about 3.5 weeks since what you just watched. And I wanted to make this follow-up before I release the video because a lot has happened in the 3.5 weeks, and if I just ended it where it was, it'd be kind of not great. So let's go over a couple things. The biggest and simplest is the turn signals. They work now. I'm pretty sure that the problem is fixed. To go into a bit more detail, that moment where I froze the frame and said, remember this? Well, that's the moment where the turn signals die in the video. As far as I understand it, the ECU reads the voltage from the turn signals, and if it detects something is wrong, it like acts like kind of like a fuse box and cuts power to them, and it won't like send it to them again until the bike is power cycled. And there's that yellow warning that appears on the screen now. You can see it very prominently in the footage, but what I was actually looking at was the road, and I didn't see it. And I only noticed it like for a brief instant as I was fiddling the buttons once I got to the light and started messing with the like off-road menu and all that. So I didn't really notice what it was at the time. And because I still had the blinking green arrow symbols, I thought the turn signals were working for the whole trip. And that's why I was like kind of surprised when they didn't work when I, at what you just watched there, when I stopped. But yeah, I brought it home, I experimented, I realized that was going on. It only happened on the right signal, not the left, and interestingly, not the hazard switch, which means the bulbs were not the problem. They worked fine. Then a few days later, it started working again when the key was on, but not when the key and the motor were on. So again, all pointing to voltage. I saw a post on a forum with a guy saying his dealer talked to some guy at KTM who also reported it was an ECU software problem related to reading the voltage. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what the guy posted. And it tracked with everything I'd seen. And then, my own experiences were that the problem was intermittent. Sometimes it worked with only the key on, sometimes it worked with the key and the motor on, and sometimes it didn't work at all. I went for different rides where it worked and where it didn't, and one ride where it stopped working like 20 minutes into the ride. So I don't know. It was very intermittent. This was my backup plan because I had no idea if this problem was going to be fixed. So I got these. These are bicycle turn signals, basically. They're wireless. You have these 4 light turn signals here. They go on like this. And you get this little remote control right here. And you can turn them on and turn them off. Wow. Yeah, and that's basically it. That was my backup plan. Mount those to the bike. You have to recharge them, which is annoying, but mount those to the bike, mount the controller to the handlebar, and now if the turn signals fail out, hey, I have a backup one. Pretty awful thing to have to do on a brand new bike in 2026, I think. Turn signals really ought to be a solved problem, but it's better than not riding. I figured if the weather was going to suddenly get good on me and I was going to be stuck because I had no turn signals, that was really miserable. So $40 backup plan. However, seems like it won't be necessary because last week I saw another post from a guy on the same Facebook group, I think, who said, hey, I complained to KTM Canada, not just my dealer, or KTM North America or whatever. And they just sent me this email saying that there's a new software version available at dealers as of now that will fix this problem. So make an appointment and get your software flashed. And he posted a screenshot of the email and it looked legit. If that's fake, that feels like a lot of effort. You know what I mean? What's the point of faking that? So I went to my dealer and I made an appointment. They made the appointment for me. When I showed up, they're a little hesitant. I'm like, I just want you guys to flash the software because I have this intermittent turn signal thing. And they're like, well, we can't see the problem happening. Because of course, that day, it was all working fine. Of course it was. But I was like, please just flash the software. And like the guy was a bit, I don't know, reluctant. I don't know if it was like he thought he could get more money by doing some guy's tire change at that time instead or what. Maybe that's the case. But I just bought a new bike from them, so I kind of argued a little bit. And then he's like, fine, we'll flash the software. I hope it'll fix the problem for you, like kind of not really thinking it would, but we'll see. KTM seems to think it will. So they did do the flash for me. They didn't charge me, so that was fine. So I'm complaining, but really they did what I wanted in the end, so I'm not going to complain too much. And they also washed the bike for me without like asking or anything like that. They just completely washed it. It looked brand new. You guys remember the day what it just looked like when I was riding. I rode on another rainy day after that. Like this thing was gross. It looked like I'd been dirt riding. And now it looks great because they cleaned it. So I was complaining about them, but I will say props for that. I didn't ask them to do that. They just did. That was really cool. I think they just wash all the bikes that come through their shop. It was very nice of them. And they flashed the software, most importantly. Since then, I rode it about an hour after that dealer appointment. And then today I rode it like 2.5 hours. And so far it has been completely error-free. I haven't had it happen one time since I've had the new software. So if you have this problem and you're watching this in spring of 2026 and you have this bike, try to get software version 1.16 or higher. From what I understand, 1.13, the version I had when I got the bike, is what fixed the flameout issue that was so prevalent earlier. And now 1.16, available as of like a week ago, so early April, fixes the turn signal problem, at least as far as I can tell. We're gonna need more time to be sure. I've only ridden it maybe like 3 hours, and intermittent problems can be real bastards like that. But so far, so good. So I'm hoping that's the end of the story. So, let's talk a bit about other things about this bike to follow up as a first ride. I didn't do these things on my first ride, but I did them within the first month of ownership. So the first one, and maybe most important, is the freeway. I did finally ride this thing on the highway for, I don't know, maybe like 5 kilometers or something, just to see how it was really. Because it was the biggest problem I had with my rally, right? It was I loved riding the rally off-road. I liked riding it around town well enough. I liked quite a lot about that bike, but it was just misery on high-speed stuff, on the freeway, on secondary highways with high speed limits. You couldn't pass, you struggled up hills, merging sucked. Like, it was just not good at those things. This bike does not have that problem. It's fine. It's not a highway beast, you know what I mean? It's not a 100-something horsepower, big displacement, highway touring monster. It's never gonna be that. I'm fine with that. I don't need it to be that. I just wanted to do better than the rally and feel comfortable riding on the freeway. And no problem. Following traffic, absolutely no problem. Keeping up with traffic, no problem. I even passed somebody. I got it up to like 135 to go around somebody. Easy, lots of power, no hesitation, didn't have to wait forever, just boom, downshifted to 5th and opened the throttle and it went, and it was great. And then I passed back up to 6, cruise along comfy at like 115, 120, no problem. Didn't feel overwhelming vibration, felt good. I need to do obviously a lot longer to have a final, like, yes, I love this bike on the highway, but initial impression was really good. So very happy. Next thing, suspension. So good. It feels like they built it for me. That's crazy to say, but that's what it feels like when I get on it. I'm 150 pounds, so on the lighter side, I suppose, of riders that are probably looking at this, but not the lightest. And it feels just great. I didn't have to adjust anything. I didn't touch the clickers. I didn't touch the rear. I just left it alone, and it's great. Like, I got on it. I hit small stuff. I don't even feel it. I hit big stuff. I feel it, but I stay in control of the bike. Now, I understand some people that have ridden this very aggressively off-road have bottomed out the shock off jumps, and they're bigger guys off big hits and stuff. I haven't ridden anything like that, and I don't know that I will, to be honest with you. But for me, so far, I'm just nothing but impressed with the behavior of the suspension, so I really like it. I have done a little bit of off-road riding on it. So today, like I mentioned, I did go out and ride a bunch. I actually tried to record this, what you're watching now, on that ride, but unfortunately the camera thought it was rotated and recorded the whole thing in vertical video, and the footage is useless. So my bad. I learned how to lock the camera orientation now. I didn't know before that you had to do that. But yeah, I did actually ride what you could almost call off-road. It's basically, I found this like housing development in the suburb here, and it's a big one, a whole new neighborhood, and there's a big road going through it, and it has some twists and turns, and there's a couple of side like cul-de-sacs and stuff, and you know, so there's curves, and there was a little bit ups and downs, and it was all unpaved, gravel and dirt with some big potholes and stuff from the spring melt. So, you know, I got to ride the whole thing standing up on the pegs and feeling, you know, this like famous lack of torque and all that people complain about. And I mean, obviously it wasn't super technical. It was the kind of off-roading that I would have done on my XSR with its Michelin roads on it and not felt bad about it or anything. You don't need a big skid plate. You don't need a big ground clearance or anything like that. But it's still, I got that little adventure feeling on there, you know, and it felt good. And I did it in second and I felt it out. And, you know, I thought it was nice. It really whet my appetite. I can't wait to ride this thing off-road kind of for real now. But that was really fun. So I got that little tease in. Yeah, I really kind of like everything else about it. I'll mention something. I like the seat. People think it's really stiff, but after 2.5 hours, I still liked sitting on it. But I do have a problem that isn't the seat's fault, but the seat is going to kind of ultimately pay for it. And the problem is this. When I sit on this bike, it's just a little on the tall side for me. On the rally, after the mods and everything I did, when I sit on the rally, the balls of both of my feet are nicely down on the ground. On this one, it's closer to being on my toes. I don't like that so much. I would like to have a little bit more foot down. I don't need a lot. And I just complimented the suspension. I really don't want to be changing out the suspension. That's a lot of money, and like, this one's good. Why would I want to get rid of it? So the most obvious thing to do to me to simplify this problem, or to make this problem go away in the simplest way possible, I should say, is a Seat Concepts low seat. They're not available yet, Seat Concepts, though I emailed them, they say they are working on a seat for this model in the Enduro. So it should be hopefully soon, but I will take this off and put a Seat Concepts low seat, Comfort Low they call it, which should shave that half inch or so that I need, maybe a little more if I'm lucky, and just bring my feet down to where I'm really comfortable, because it does have a little more weight than the Rally for sure. So I would like to have a little bit more of a planted feeling. But it's too bad because this thing isn't bad. If you don't like a stiff seat, you might not like this, but I really don't mind it. And again, after like 2.5 hours, I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna be pretty tired of it. But actually, no, I was like, you know what? Pretty good, pretty good. So, you know, it's not gonna matter because I'm gonna go with the seat concepts for, like I just said, but you know, I think if you are tall enough, you'd probably be fine with this seat. Maybe you like a much more cushioned or much more padded. And again, 150 pounds, maybe a different person, different weight would blow through the foam that's there and be like, I don't like it. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Also, I don't know about the passenger portion of the seat. It doesn't seem very big. I haven't tried it. I don't always try passenger. Let's try first. It's the first ride review. Let's see what sitting on the passenger seat is like on this bike. Always feels a little sketchy to do with no rider on it because it rocks a little, but yeah, it's not great. Am I sitting on, oh no, wait, I'm still sitting on the seat. Sorry, my bad. There we go. Now I'm on. I don't know if you can even see me in the shot anymore. Okay, yeah, I don't love it. First of all, there's nothing to hold on to at all. There's no grab rails. There's this little strap thing in front of me, but it's awkward to hold. And if there's a person sitting in front of me, I don't know how I would possibly be able to hold this. Yeah, you're holding the rider for sure here. So maybe this isn't going to be the greatest passenger experience of all time. Although I've ridden passenger exactly one time in my life. It was terrifying, by the way. If you're a rider, I think riding passenger is really hard. It's not so much fun. And I've only had a passenger on my bike maybe 5 times in my life. One of those times was the Rally, which is kind of funny. But yeah, and it was for like a block anyway. It wasn't for very long. But yeah, and I don't really ride with the passenger. I don't really think about this, but I just wanted to see it since I'm talking about the seat. But yeah, you know, I really like pretty much everything about the riding experience of this bike. The turn signals was not fun, of a problem to have to deal with, but like with that now seemingly behind us, I am so excited to do more riding. The way this bike feels, even though it's like small engine and not super fast, it just feels so sporty and fun. Like you can see that 390 engine, you know, you can feel its character. And I know that might not be ideal for off-road stuff, but like for on-road stuff, it's so good. And even with this big suspension and these big wheels, you lean this thing into a turn and it just goes, and it's really cool. Like it really feels sporty and fun to ride. I love the riding position. I love the ergonomics. You know, it's really nice. So that is my first impressions and slightly second impressions, we'll say, after a little short period of ownership. But there'll be more content on this bike coming soon, obviously. I want to make a video about why this one in such a now suddenly huge light adventure market, but that's the next video. So we'll talk about that then. So keep your eyes out for it, and in the meantime, peace.